Right, good morning, everybody. It is a lovely, fresh Saturday morning. As we left off in the last video, first of all, we'd like to say a big thank you for everyone who's supporting us, watching the videos, liking and subscribing and commenting. It does mean a lot. We have been a little bit overwhelmed. So overwhelmed, in fact, Michael has had to take a 2-day break to Scotland to rest already. Yeah, so we are today going to get on with ceramic coating the bike, as we talked about. We've got a few little jobs to do with it this morning before Chris arrives in a couple of hours. We're going to have a cup of tea and we're going to crack on with it. So we will keep you posted. Keep an eye out. So if anyone inquires, it is a 22mm nut on the lower right side fork leg, depending on if you're facing the bike or looking at the bike. We have, just to double check, H6 pinch bolts, which is pretty standard fare for most fork legs. And I'm using a generic paddock stand mounted under the top yoke, and these are readily available online. I'm sure a lot of people have seen them. But the pin requirement that you need for the headstock is a 13mm pin. So just in case you're wondering, a lot of the kits come with 3 or 4 pins for the big 4 manufacturers and the Italians and whatnot. So if you're just double checking, you will need a 13mm pin. The main axle bolt size is a 19mm. It's on the other side of the axle there, and obviously you can buy these again off eBay just to wind it out. It's just a 3/8 drive. I'm going to whip the calipers off just because I do not want to risk smacking into the wheel as I'll remove the wheel. So we'll take them off for now. Again, the idea behind this, guys, is just to give us all the accessibility that we can to get in, all the nooks and crannies. I know some people say, well, what's the point in doing the underside of the mudguard? But believe me, anywhere dirt can trap, especially if you get caught in bad weather, it will not stick. The ceramic coating is awesome. And it just means that you can take all of that, put some all-purpose cleaner in a snow foam cannon, give the bike a quick jet wash, and it's back to looking like new again. So, caliper bolts, both the same size. They're just a 14mm for the styleemers. I'll just give a quick rock backwards and forwards just to push the pistons back a little bit. And out there come without any fuss. They'll just hang there, there's no tension on them. I'll do the same for this side. These will all get torqued back up. And these torque settings will be exactly the same as they would be on, I would say, any of the modern blades, to be perfectly honest, because they all run the shower forks and calipers, so we'll have no problem finding that information. Also, what we're going to do, and we'll mention it later in the episode as well, is I'm going to mask off the contact faces of the brake pads. We might even remove the brake pads. I'm going to have a quick look in a minute, probably off camera. We might remove the brake pads to allow a full high-temp ceramic coating to be sprayed inside the caliper faces. Again, it just keeps the brake dust off. So rear pads, we'll whip the rears out as well. Again, just for good measure, because this will allow Chris the opportunity to fully coat the caliper with no risk to the actual friction material. And it's very simple. 1 8mm bolt at the back of the caliper face. Sort of spring loaded in their perch, but take one out, take the other out. These are just standard Nissans NKX19 double E's. Not a mark on them yet. Michael, do your back brake. So we'll put the pin back in for safety. And allows the pin to get a caught. Right, folks, welcome back. So, as you see this morning, we've been prepping the bike. I'm pleased to introduce Chris from Crystal Clear Detailing. We'll add his Instagram and his Facebook. Chris is a good friend of mine. He's detailed some of our other bikes, given me tons of advice over the years since we became mates. Chris has got, what, about 18 years?
18 years, yeah. About
18 years in the industry of detailing and whatnot. A lot of time and effort. He's worked on some amazing cars. You'll see all these pictures and that on his Instagram and his Facebook. Chris is going to explain to us what we're going to do with the bike, what coatings we're going to use quickly, and then we're going to let him get on with it. Because obviously we don't want to spend all day talking about it. We don't want to keep me here any longer than we need to. So what is it we're going to do, Chris?
So just a simple prep. So clean down with some isopropyl alcohol mix. Get the surfaces nice and clean. Remove some certain stickers that don't want to be on the bike anymore. I'm going to apply a nice graphene ceramic coating to it. So graphene based, 10H rated. It's rated at 10 years, a fairly new coating on the market. So we're giving it a run out on this bike. It's got good heat resistance, great angle for beading and water protection. Should have a nice layer. We're going to atomize it in most of the areas, getting all the nooks and crannies, rather than actually applying it with the suede cloth. Certain areas will get the suede. And then we'll buff it, get it hardened. Wants a nice long cure time, this one, Bryce. So
yeah, well, the plan is, guys, once Chris is done, we'll put the fire on, bring the temperature up. Obviously, the garage is nice and dry and insulated, so it'll help. We'll leave it cure for at least overnight into probably Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gives it the best. It gives it all the best chances of working as best as it can. Chris, do we need to worry about anything else? Obviously, we've removed the wheels, friction surfaces.
Obviously, we're going to mask off the glass areas because it's not for glass. Certain elements, the gloss blacks are coming off. Obviously, I'm going to refine them out before we coat them.
Yep.
Obviously, as you were explaining, the bike's going to go for a bit of paint eventually. Some slight changes, which will come obviously further on in the channel.
That'll all come in the...
Some exciting stuff going to happen with this one. But yeah, obviously I'm atomizing, so I'll keep the chain clear and everything like that. So, but the good thing with atomizing the coating into the bike is it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
It gets everywhere. All the places we can't reach with a suede cloth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a lot to worry about. Just a bit of information for the painters when they're going to paint. There's silica dioxide on there once it's done. So some extra prep and just notes for people if you're getting work like this done and stuff's going in for paint later on further down the line. Let your painter know. Otherwise, he'll be pulling his hair out.
So we're going to leave it there. We're going to set up a bit of time lapse. Chris is going to be gracious enough to get us some videos. I've got to go walk my dog, and I'm going to leave him to it because there's not worse than people standing over you when you're doing stuff like this. So tune back in later, and we'll bring you some before and after. Thanks a lot, guys.
Smash it.
So it's done. Massive thanks to Chris. from Crystal Clear Detailing. Crystal Clear
Yeah,
Detailing?
that's the one. Yeah.
Chris has been labouring all day long. I cannot fault him for his effort. Chris got here at 9 o'clock this morning. It's about 5.
Yeah, nearly. Almost 5 now.
Almost 5.
Yep.
So he's had a full day at it. And I'll be honest, guys, it looks absolutely stunning. It is difficult to obviously put across on camera what it looks like, because ultimately it's a clear coating, so it's hard to sort of, it's not like having a bike repainted where you see a massive transformation.
And you're on a satin finish as well. So
yeah, so but it looks amazing. The wheels are all done, so they've all been fully protected. Obviously we masked them all up, spent hours degreasing the wheels, and that's the thing with this system.
Yeah,
and getting a ceramic coat, people don't realise how much labour is actually involved in doing the work like this, because it's all good and well to assume that it's just, oh, well, I'm going to pay someone to come and spray my bike in like ACF. It's not like that. There's probably about, if there was 10 hours in a day, 8 hours of it would be just cleaning and degreasing the parts. And obviously, because we're trying to get the atomised spray in every nook and cranny has to be cleaned and detailed and dried. So we've had heat guns out, blowers. We've got an oven and a fan on, well, a gas burner over there. But pound for pound, definitely it's going to be the best mod that Michael can do with the bike.
Yeah, protection, yeah.
Protection.
Absolutely.
The bike is going to look like this 3 years from now, probably 5 years from now, if Michael keeps up with a good regime. Chris has been good enough to lay out he's sent Michael a message laying out what products to use to refresh the ceramic coating for his cleaning procedure. If he sticks to what Chris has told him, it's going to look like this for another 5 years, which will obviously increase the resale value if he ever decides to sell the bike. Cost-wise, it isn't a cheap thing. We will be honest, but nothing's cheap in this day and age, no. to be fair.
Not even a cup of coffee.
Not even a cup of coffee. So a system like what Chris has done, and the time and the labour can stretch you anywhere from starting around £300 and can go up to 7, 8, maybe 4 figures.
Easily to £1,000.
Yeah.
Easily.
And again, guys, that is literally down to the labour that goes into this. All right, I can't stress that enough. Starting with a bike like this, again, you'd be quick to assume that it's just a case of, it's a brand new bike.
Brand new bikes, everything's fine.
I'll just spray it straight over and it's done.
Case.
It still needs to be stripped clean. Yeah. We've had the panels off, we've had the side cowls off, we've forks, brakes.
Light machine polishing on the gloss blacks. So even though they're brand new, there's still marks on them, so they need to be corrected, brought back to how they should be before you put the coating on.
Yeah.
So
all the grease, you can imagine when these tyres got fitted to the wheels, the grease from the fitters putting the tyres on, then the PDI inspection, then the chain, flinging it up, just bringing it over it. All that has to be removed before you can even attempt to put the coating on. So it is done now. The plan is to leave it now. This is Saturday today. We're going to leave this till at least Monday evening.
Yeah.
Just to give it the best chance to cure. And just because we don't want to grab anything.
Generally, rule of thumb, you're 24 hours after a coating's gone on if the environment's quite good. Obviously, your environment's really good here, Brian. But 48 hours, the longer you leave it, the better. It's not going to do any harm. Full hardness of the coating's 14 days. And that it'll start to gloss up even more. The wheels will get glossier over the next 14 days. Obviously, you experienced that with your bike.
Yeah, certainly did.
The improvement over the next 14 days to its full hardness.
Yeah.
It's just a massive difference. The cleaning regime becomes a lot easier.
I've seen that firsthand with mine. I put snow foam on my bike, give it a light brush if it's really soiled, if we've got caught in some really bad weather. And rinse it off and blow dry it, and it looks like the day it did when I built it. So, so can't thank Chris enough. What we're going to do is we're going to put Chris's information and details. He's like Facebook and Instagram in the credits at the bottom. Feel free to reach out to him.
Yep.
Chris is obviously based in the northeast of England. I can't say where he's willing to travel to. It's all going to depend on the bike or the car. But by all means, reach out to Chris. I'm sure he's willing to give you some advice.
Absolutely.
If he can't do it for you, he knows a lot of people in the industry who could probably help. We're going to leave this now. We've still got some more mods to do to it before Michael starts putting mileage on it. We are going to look in the next episode about powder coating the rear sets and the foot controls. Going to start reassembling the parts, putting the wheels back in, putting the brake pads back in. We've got some other little items to change. and then we're going to hopefully, probably by next week's episode, which this will be the week after, have the bike back together for Michael, and he's going to start putting some mileage on it, and then we can start looking at changing the exhaust and some performance parts and that we've got on order. But again, because the bikes are new, we're still waiting on lead time for parts to come in.
Yeah.
You know, you try and be at the front of everyone, but you're the one that struggles because there's nothing out there just yet. So, to everyone who's obviously been watching, we do really appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell us if we're doing it good. Tell us if we're doing it shite. Everything's appreciated because we are just new to this.
Yeah.
And tune in for the next one. Hopefully, Michael will be back from his trip away. We'll get some reactions from Michael when he gets back. And we'll see you on the next one. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.